Welcome to Safety Management with Mobile Technology for main contractors. If you're a construction professional, I don't need to tell you why safety is so important. Any opportunity we have to help improve the probability that we get ourselves and our coworkers home safely is worth exploring. According to research up to 2015, there were more mobile devices than desktop computers or people on the planet Earth. There are many benefits to a mobile safety program. We have developed a 5-step approach to injecting mobile. Upon completion of the course, you'll have a greater knowledge of how you can leverage mobile technology more effectively and have a couple very practical next steps you can take away to try on your project tomorrow. Hello there, my name is Matt. Welcome to Safety Management with Mobile Technology for main contractors. If you're a construction professional, I don't need to tell you why safety is so important. Any opportunity we have to help improve the probability that we get ourselves and our coworkers home safely is worth exploring. In this course, we'll discuss how you can take positive steps toward improving your safety management program with mobile technology on your construction project. This course was developed in partnership with a group of global construction professionals and industry thought leaders who have shared their experiences so that you can benefit from their lessons learned. From time to time, you'll hear from my British partner with expert tips. Upon completion of the course, you'll have a greater knowledge of how you can leverage mobile technology more effectively and have a couple very practical next steps you can take away to try on your project tomorrow. We'll begin by discussing how mobile technology is relevant in safety management and what the potential benefit is of improving your use of mobile for you and your team. The remainder of the course will follow a structure that's used in all of the courses in the field curriculum. We refer to it as the Perry model. First, we discuss what should be planned for before moving into how you may approach executing on your mobile safety management program. Doing this gives us the opportunity to leverage reports and data analytics to surface insights into project performance. We'll finish the course by discussing how you may put in place foundations for continual improvement so that each and every day moving forward, your safety program has the opportunity to get better than the day prior. Towards the end, there'll be a 5-question knowledge summary. Once you've completed the course, we'll generate a certificate that includes your name, the name of the course, and the continuing professional development accreditation. Additionally, you'll see that you've made progress towards the completion of the Contech Academy in the field accreditation. This course is designed for main contractors and construction managers who are looking to improve their existing safety programs with mobile technology. We will not cover the use of any particular hardware or software tools, but rather start just by focusing on what we want to accomplish and the process how to do so. At the end of the course, if you're interested in taking additional steps, we will provide links to best-in-class industry tools that'll assist you and your team. Understanding your project team's tolerance for change is very important. That's why, throughout the course, we'll emphasize taking a pragmatic approach by outlining a series of steps that can be taken. Whether you're just getting started or already have a well-established mobile safety program and want to pick up a couple tips, tricks, and best practices, this course is something for you. At any time while you're taking the course, you'll be given access to download a wealth of supplementary materials, templates, and guides that you can use as a starting point or for reference. You can download them by clicking on the Resources tab. These resources are being shared with you from the industry thought-leading organizations that have helped us build these courses. Visit the Partners page to learn more about these companies. So let's get started with safety management with mobile technology. Access to mobile technology has been made possible by the emergence of the digital revolution, discussed in our Quality Management in the Digital Age course. Technically, when folks refer to mobile technology, they're also referring to laptops. Wearable tech is also a hot topic in the world today. Some of the first uses of this technology are already appearing in construction safety programs, with the growing use of smart helmets, augmented vision safety glasses, and tracking devices. For the sake of this course, however, we're going to simplify our focus and limit our conversation to the use of tablets and smartphones. This is a particularly relevant topic with the growing acceptance of mobile technology across the globe. According to research up to 2015, there were more mobile devices than desktop computers or people on the planet Earth. Further, mobile devices are growing at a rate 5 times greater than the rate of humans. Narrowing down and focusing just on the construction industry, JB Knowledge conducted a survey of over 2,000 participants in the construction industry. In 2015, they found that over 97% of the construction workforce surveyed use smartphones on a daily basis, and that the daily use of tablets and smartphones was up by over 20% year over year. The use of mobile technology in our day-to-day lives has made its way into our professional lives and is more and more common on the job site. Let's look at how we can use mobile technology to improve our safety programs. To make any progress in improving our mobile safety program as a project team, it's important that we understand the potential benefits, effectively, the why. In introducing change to any organization, it's critical that folks understand what's in it for them. There are many benefits to a mobile safety program. Here are a couple of the top ones. The first, and debatably the most important, is getting every person who steps foot on the job site to feel a sense of ownership and empowerment for safety. Safety is no longer just the responsibility of the safety manager. This is difficult to effect because it's a challenge of culture of each organization and the project team. When implementing cultural change, not only is it important to explain what's in it for them, but you want to make the change as easy as possible. To get folks to take ownership of the safety program, we need to make sure also that it's easy to access accurate and up-to-date safety and project information. This includes standards, regulations, training videos, and general project information, including activities under works. Additionally, by extending our safety inspection process to the field through the use of mobile, we're improving our ability to collaborate and include third-party stakeholders, like our trades and subcontractors. Perhaps the easiest benefit to quantify is the increased productivity of the field personnel through the use of mobile technology. With information at their fingertips, they no longer need to waste time on value-less tasks, like making trips back and forth to the site office to get plans, drawings, and forms. They no longer have to spend time retranscribing notes or assembling reports. And they're able to more quickly and effectively perform their safety walks and inspections. What's interesting about this is the discussion of what value-add activities can be performed instead, like additional inspections or time spent in the field helping the subcontractors. Mobile safety programs enable project teams shift from a culture that reacts to safety issues to one in which leverage leading indicators to be more proactive in its approach. Mobile devices enable the capture of a greater amount of inspection data, including site conditions in both safe and unsafe observations. This data, coupled with analytics, enables your team to surface insights into both leading and lagging indicators. We'll talk a lot more about this and the importance of it in later chapters. In addition, the use of mobile technology will improve communication between your team in the job site office and out in the field. And you'll see that more safety meetings and trainings are being performed in the field, providing greater context. Before we dive into executing on your mobile safety program, there are a couple things you should plan for. Setting some basic guidelines for the safe use of mobile technology on your site is a really important starting point. Understanding how your safety inspection process changes with the use of mobile technology. Setting common naming for mobile data capture. Working with your IT group to set your team up for success. And taking a stepped approach to executing on a mobile safety program. First things first, just like any other tool or piece of equipment we introduce onto the project site, we need to ensure that there are guidelines in place for the safe operation and use of mobile technology. People don't naturally think of technology as introducing similar risk as a large piece of machinery, like a crane carrying a large piece of concrete. But they are a very real distraction and can be easily overlooked. If nothing else, at its most simple, you can start with a single, common sense guideline like, don't use mobile technology anytime or any place you wouldn't unroll a tube of drawings. Injecting some more specific guidelines into your safety manual might include some things like the following. Avoid distractions and hazards. Plan a path of travel for mobile users, routing them away from areas with debris or heavy equipment in use. Prohibit the use of mobile equipment on ladders. Require 100% tie-off in elevated positions. No personal phone calls or digital communication like text messages or emails while you're on the clock. Must be in a full stop position to unholster your mobile equipment. Require high visibility clothing for the mobile users, possibly with unique identifying features. Some folks even set up and mark mobile use safe zones, where teammates can use mobile safely out of the way of any imminent danger, hazards, or traffic. A side benefit for these teams are, we know where they're going to be working with mobile devices, and where they're going to need reliable access to the internet, so they have the opportunity to set up mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. You also want to make it easy for folks to stay safe while leveraging mobile devices. Many teams provide backpacks, holsters, or other hands-free accessories for tablets. As you're developing your site safety orientation training, inject these rules and policies, and discourage workers, employees, and visitors from using mobile devices out on the site unless they've had site-specific training and potentially completed a job hazard analysis. One of the Contech Academy partners is aware of how tightly connected our mobile devices and social networks are nowadays. It might seem like a really cool thing to hang off a set of scaffolding or a crane tower and take a selfie to share out with your friends and the rest of the world what your view will be for the day. But it's not safe unless the device is tethered and may be unintentionally harmful to the reputation of the company that you're working for. Let's take a look at the safety inspection process, both with and without mobile technology. Let's say we're performing a general daily site safety audit. We'll start in the project office gathering all the relevant paper-based inspection forms, tubes of drawings, and site plans. We'll also grab any relevant documentation. We're going to then head out to the site and audit where the work is being performed. You'll go through your inspection forms, making notes on site personnel protective equipment. You may have to cross-reference your project's safety regulations to determine what form of fall protection applies to particular work at heights. There's some welding on site today, so you'll pay attention that tools and equipment are being used and secured properly. All the time making notes and flipping through plans, regulations, and specifications for reference. Hopefully you have the latest versions and didn't forget to grab anything, so you don't have to head back to the office to go find them, or call up your mate for help. As you progress through your inspection, you'll take photos to document any relevant conditions. So, you've completed your inspection, head back to the job office to retranscribe all of your inspection notes. Get the photos off your camera, try to match them with the relevant sections of the report. You noted a couple of infractions. For instance, one of the welding teammates wasn't wearing the appropriate eyewear. Of course, you corrected the issue on the spot, but you have to write up a report noting the corrective action taken. You want to make sure the welder retakes their site safety orientation before returning to work on site, so you add it to the open follow-up action item list. Then you've got to make sure everyone receives the proper formal notifications, so you email the report and the appropriate corresponding information to the welder and their foreman. Now, let's take a look at that same process, but using mobile technology. First, skip the trip to the office to gather all the relevant information. It's accessible from your mobile device. Perform your inspection, quickly marking off safe and unsafe observations using a checklist. If you have to reference the plans or site regulations, you have them on hand quickly. Take photos of any relevant observations or site conditions in line with your inspection items. Skip heading back to the site office to retranscribe your notes. Skip pulling up the photos off your digital camera and associating them. They're already linked to your notes you made on the mobile device. Skip assembling the action item list, and skip sending reports and notifications to the relevant stakeholders. This has all been automated for you. With the digitized mobile safety program, you've got immediate access to the most up-to-date and accurate information at the point of inspection. You've more easily captured important site information, including photos. No longer does your team or the welder's foreman need to wait for you to get back to the office, retranscribe your notes, compile the report, and email it out. They get it right away, and you've cut down on communication delays. You've captured information that can more easily and reliably be used for performance reporting and analytics. Perhaps most importantly, you've decluttered the inspection process by removing value-less tasks that could be automated. Now you can spend more time on site performing value-add tasks like additional or deeper inspections, or working with your trades and subcontractors. Before you get on your way capturing and documenting site safety information, you'll want to establish some naming conventions and standards for information capture on-site with mobile. By establishing this at the onset of the project, you'll get everyone speaking the same language, ensure that the information captured is a great deal more usable for analysis. Additionally, looking forward, establishing corporate standards around some of these naming will reduce the learning curve from one project to the next. We want to mix apples to apples. So as a starting point, you'll want to define some basic types of observations, give guidance what type of information is documented, and provide a follow-on procedure should any corrective action need to be taken. You might start by defining some basic safety observation types. For example, an infraction may be an observation that was simply out of conformance with site safety guidelines and did not cause an incident as an outcome. These can be looked at as correctable and teachable moments. For example, it was very hot out and someone took off their hard hat in a working zone. Use near miss anytime an unplanned event didn't result in an incident, but very well could have. Perhaps a brick fell and didn't injure anyone or damage anything, but it could have. Use incident anytime there's an occurrence whereby a person, equipment, or property has been harmed. This is always a recordable event, and you should have a very clear procedure outlined for what action needs to be taken and what information needs to be documented. Conversely, you also want to be able to flag inspection observations as safe or conforming to site safety guidelines. This will allow you to positively affirm a specific observation was made, as well as conduct trend reporting to find conformance rates, which we'll discuss later. You may even want to capture best practice safety observations when you see a person, set of work, or condition that resembles the proper or best practice way for which you want repeated by the rest of the team. Documenting this allows you to share this information or set an expectation, and is a good way in which you can start to build a culture where positive performance is recognized. With any of these types of observations, you may have details on what information should be captured. For example, some may require photos. You can also define a procedure that needs to be followed. For example, an infraction should be resolved on the spot, but then a formal warning could be documented so you can track how often a particular company or worker on site has had an infraction. If they've had a certain number of infractions, they may be asked to perform some form of corrective action. After you have standardized your types of safety observations, anytime there is an unsafe behavior or condition that's observed, we want to get to the root cause so that we can better understand how we can prevent these conditions from occurring again in the future. Post-accident investigation might be the most critical component of your safety program beyond tending to injuries. We're going to talk a great deal about this in the reporting chapter to come. First, you'll want to consider what types of mobile devices and corresponding operating systems you'll want to enable in the field. Not all applications will be supported on all devices. According to a recent survey by JB Knowledge, iOS devices built into Apple products such as iPhones and iPads are used the most on-site, at over 58%. This is followed by Android and Windows operating systems at just over 20 and 15%. What plays into this decision is cost, and how mobile devices will be financed and then managed ongoing. Some organizations centrally purchase a set number of devices to be distributed amongst projects on demand, and some have programs where they allow workers to leverage personal devices on the job. Some pay for devices out of an IT or R&D budget and then rent them out to each project, while others leave it up to each project to purchase their own. Additionally, your IT department can help you set in place policy for use, including responsibility of the user, security standards, and return or buyback policy. One of the most important things you'll need to consider before leveraging mobile for any new parts of your safety program is your team or organization's readiness for change. There is no set formula for how much change is the right amount. You have to spend time thinking about what is right for them. To this end, we have developed a 5-step approach to injecting mobile into your safety program. A great starting point is to simply get your team mobilized with access to all the latest safety-related information and documentation on their mobile devices in the field for reference and potentially even markup. Then you can leverage mobile to perform your existing safety inspections. Oftentimes, the emphasis here is that they will do the same things they have always done, just in a more efficient manner. Where possible, you should find opportunities to leverage mobile in your site safety meetings so your team can stay in the field or perform training in the context of what they're learning about. Once information is captured from the field, you want to enhance how you leverage data and analytics to surface insights and improve safety program performance. Finally, you want to ensure you have a culture of continuous improvement so that the evolution of your safety program never ends. In this chapter, we have discussed a number of the topics you should plan for before executing your mobile safety solution. We first discussed how to set guidelines for the safe use of mobile and gave some examples. We highlighted how the process of performing safety inspections would change with versus without mobile technology. We discussed setting up your team to be successful by standardizing on some basic naming conventions. We gave you some talking points to be discussed further with your IT team. Finally, we shared how you may take a stepped approach to leveraging mobile in your safety program. So what does all this look like? Well, in this chapter, we'll look at the first 3 steps you can take in executing your mobile safety program. We'll first look at how you can get safety documentation out on site. Then we'll talk about evolving your existing safety inspection process. Finally, we'll discuss how mobile tech can be used more broadly in traditional safety meetings. Gone are the days that the person on the project site who is responsible for safety is the single site safety manager. It's the responsibility of every person that steps foot on the job site to ensure they're following good safety practices, to ensure they're not putting themselves or anyone around them at risk. One problem with this is that not everyone has had the same amount of safety training, experience, or knowledge. Well, let's level that playing field and empower every person to take ownership for site safety by equipping them with all the relevant reference information right on their mobile devices at the point of construction. Let's get our site safety documentation and information out on site and make it easy to reference. Here's 4 simple steps for making this a reality. First, determine where all this documentation needs to live. Leveraging a cloud-based document management solution will ensure real-time access. Second, think about what information needs or should be shared with particular teams or individuals and ensure your solution has permission levels based on role, company, and particular users. Third, make sure your solution has a mobile component so that the folks out on the project site can gain access easily. You'll need to consider compatibility with various operating systems. Fourth and finally, you'll want a solution where not only can we access these documents, but we can make our own private or shared markups for future reference. Your site safety inspection process is core to your safety program. Our goal should be that it is constantly evolving and improving over time. At the same time, we want to be aware of our project team's readiness for change and improvement when making modifications. Here's a 4-stage process that I like to use when working with teams on making incremental improvements. A great starting point is ensuring you are digitally capturing all the information surrounding any unsafe observation, be it an incident, infraction, or a near miss. The more information that we are able to capture electronically, the better we're going to be able to analyze it and ensure it doesn't happen again. Be sure to follow the naming conventions and follow-up procedures set forth while planning. We covered this back in the last chapter. Next, we want to broaden the types of conditions we are capturing to also encourage the documentation of safe observations. You want to do this for 3 major reasons. First, you may need to prove that a particular body of work or area has been inspected for safety, and you can't do this if the only thing you document was what went wrong. Second, you may want to create a culture where good behaviors are recognized and encouraged, or simply to set expectations for how work should be carried out moving forward. Third and finally, counting the number of unsafe observations only tells us part of the story. When looking at reporting on subcontractor or safety program performance, we will have a much better picture if we know how many unsafe observations there were in relationship to the total number of observations. For example, 3 safety infractions for one company that only has a couple workers on site should be a pretty good indicator that there is a very big problem. But if that company has been on site with a crew size in the hundreds for multiple years, then 3 safety infractions appears to be isolated incidents that should be managed with those individuals. A very powerful step in implementing a mobile safety program is to digitize and make available a formal checklist-based inspection program. This will enable your field personnel to carry out inspections that leverage corporate best practice knowledge and experience that has been captured in your checklist templates. Oftentimes, these inspections are carried out on a regular interval, like a daily or a weekly generic site safety inspection, where particular sections are filled out based on what work is being conducted that day. Often, project teams will perform a daily safety audit by at least one member of the team every day, and they'll rotate who performs it. Others might require every single person out in the field to fill out one per day. The benefits of a checklist-based program are that they level the playing field and ensure even your most junior project teammates are working off and benefiting from the collective experiences of your most senior experienced teammates. They ensure nothing is missed or slips through the cracks. Too often we get distracted by large, glaring issues and may miss a smaller or more subtle issue. They improve the speed at which an observation can be recorded. Not every observation needs to be manually written out. Instead, you can check off a safe or unsafe result. This leads to you being able to perform and document more safety observations. Finally, a digital checklist program bolstered by mobile allows to capture very important information that can be used to surface insights into both leading and lagging indicators. We'll discuss this further in the next chapter. The last step I want to talk about is how you can get collaborative with all the companies spending time out on the project site. This further feeds into the idea that it is the responsibility of everyone on the job site to take ownership for making sure everyone gets home safe at night with 0 incidents. In order to do this, you need to empower them. Your checklist templates will do just this. Equip them with the knowledge of what and how to check work for safe conditions. You may start by inviting your trades and subcontractors to perform formal checklist inspections alongside your team for their areas of work. Then enable specific trades and subs to perform their own safety inspections prior to commencing work. You may develop policies or contractual language to the effect that all work-specific safety inspections will be performed in conjunction with and signed off by the relevant trades. No matter where you are in your journey, there's always room for improvement. Use these steps as a guideline and be deliberate when making any change to your inspection process.
Hi, my name is Dave, and I'm here to give you my top tips on safety with mobile. Setting goals is the best way to align your team and focus their efforts. Goals are a powerful way in which you can affect behaviours and project culture. As one of the Content Academy partners put it, if you're not keeping score, it doesn't count. Setting SMART goals is a way in which you clarify your goals in terms of what's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Here's an example of a SMART goal. For the duration of this project, there will be at least one safety training event conducted on site every day where no less than 80% of all people on site will attend. No two training topics repeated in a given week, and no one individual will miss more than 2 trainings in a row while they're on site. So what do we see about these goals? It's specific in that it outlines exactly what I want to achieve and removes doubt or loopholes. Safety trainings will be conducted on a variety of topics, and everyone on the project will participate. It is measurable. For example, I can record and keep track of attendance on site and at the safety training meetings each day. It is attainable. I have senior management support, and since I have set expectations with all other stakeholders on the project, I have a way to enforce the policy by denying access to anyone who doesn't comply. Further, I recognize that there will be isolated situations that may keep someone from attending one day, but I ensure that it isn't a pattern by specifying that no person will miss more than 2 trainings in a row while they're on site. It is relevant. I know that awareness and knowledge are 2 of the best ways to prevent unsafe conditions resulting in injury or lost time. Finally, it is timely. I know that there will be training every single day for the duration of the project until I hand the keys over to the client. Whenever you are rolling out a new program or process, adopting a set of SMART goals is the best way to set a path towards success, affect behaviours, and hold your team accountable.
With a firm hold on how to leverage mobile technology to get safety documentation out to the field and elevate your inspection process, we want to maximize the time your team is spending out on site. Leveraging mobile technology, we're able to get out of the project office to conduct many of our regular meetings. For example, in your regular safety training or daily safety training, some call them toolbox talks, bring context to your topic by conducting it in the environment or with the relevant equipment. Conduct your forklift safety training in front of the forklift. Conduct your extension cord safety training out on site where extension cords are going to be used. Leverage mobile for reference to take notes or record attendance. Some teams even have trainings on the safe use of mobile devices. For folks who perform pre-task plans, job hazard analysis, or job safety analysis, before conducting specific bodies of work, leverage your mobile technology for reference. Pull up the project plans and site schedule so that you can understand the conditions, including who will be on site working in specific locations. Talk through logistics and understand zones of safe use for mobile devices. As another example, you can incorporate mobile safety best practices into site orientation or new hire training. It doesn't always make sense to conduct these meetings in the field, but if being in the physical space or in front of the work that is being performed gives our team greater context, we see that our meetings can be more effective given this extra information. In this chapter, we covered 3 practical steps you can take to improve the way mobile technology is used on your job site safety programs. We first took a look at how to reliably get safety documentation and information out in the hands of your field team. Then we spent time talking through how you can evolve your existing safety inspection process. And finally, we took a broad stroke look at how mobile can be used in all of your site safety meetings to get folks out of the site office and in the field to provide greater context. As you progress your use of mobile technology to capture digital information in your safety program, you now have the opportunity to transform data into actionable business insights. In this chapter, we will look at the importance of capturing both safe or conforming and unsafe or non-conforming observations. We also discuss the difference between leading and lagging indicators and the importance of using both. When we look at documenting not only what went wrong, but also documenting observations which were found to be safe or conforming, this is also a very powerful thing for many reasons. It may not seem obvious why this is, but it's important, and here are several reasons why. First, it marks a change, some would say improvement, in culture through an increased proactive awareness of conditions surrounding work at all times, not just when things are wrong. Vigilance and awareness being very important in our safety programs. Second, this increased awareness of the conditions surrounding work will lead to an increased ability to spot those unsafe conditions. Third, this creates an opportunity where folks can be recognized for creating best practices or be incentivized to go above and beyond. Fourth and finally, it drastically improves our ability to set benchmarks and analyze data for leading indicators. Let's take a look at what I mean by going through a couple examples of leading indicators in site safety programs today. One indicator might be measuring safety inspection coverage. Coverage is a way that you can count or measure the number of safety observations that have been made over a period of time, be it a day, a week, or a month. By driving visibility of our coverage, we have a better sense for our level of risk or exposure. If we see fewer safety observations being made, we can assume it's being less top of mind for our team, and we've got higher risk or exposure of an incident occurring. Another metric we can use is conformance rate. This is the measure of the number of safe observations being made as a percentage of the total number of observations, both safe and unsafe. If we start seeing that a higher percentage of our site safety observations are of unsafe conditions, then again, we know we have exposure and are more susceptible to an incident. Take this a step further, and if we're tagging all of our observations in relation to a specific subcontractor or location, we can analyze if particular subs or site locations have greater risk. Similarly, when we discuss indicators of safety, we see that there are both lagging indicators and leading indicators. Lagging indicators represent the historic outcomes of our safety programs. Some examples of lagging indicator metrics are the frequency and severity of injuries. For example, the number of fatalities per year. Another would be lost work time, or DART rate, days away, restricted, or transferred rate. We could use the required recordable injuries, i.e. recording by governing bodies like OSHA or HSE. Sometimes insurance premiums are used, like the EMR or experience modification rate. Lagging indicator data tells you definitively an area that should be addressed after an incident or set of incidents. Fall protection and material handling are most common. For example, people getting splinters or cuts because they're not using gloves. On a paper mill project in the US, the team noticed an unusual number of hand incidents. For example, scrapes, cuts, and burns. They kept occurring. Because of the lagging indicator data, they decided to implement a 100% glove policy, gate to gate, meaning from the time they walked onto the site to the time they left. A leading indicator is a system or process used to identify hazards and eliminate or minimize a situation or condition to prevent injury. Some examples of known leading indicator metrics are things like overtime hours or safety coverage rate. If you do near-miss investigation, the output is an opportunity to improve or enhance the workspace where folks are, maybe through training or job safety analysis documentation, both of which have powerful impact on influencing behaviors for safety. One of our partners, Associated Builders and Contractors, ABC, a national U.S. trades association, recently put together a detailed 2016 safety performance report, which provides great detail on 6 core leading indicators in construction. A best-in-class safety program will leverage both. By understanding the correlation between lagging and leading indicators, you're able to identify the conditions that lead to unsafe events so they can be prevented. By enabling a mobile safety program, you are improving your ability to collect the important lagging and leading indicator data from the field so it can be analyzed.
Formally, Agile is a methodology for managing projects and programs that emphasize flexibility, taking small incremental steps at a time, and applying a data-centric approach to continual improvement. When we apply these same principles to our safety programs, we recognize that we are on a journey that starts with a single step, and then another, and then another. Shortly after Hurricane Katrina devastated the US Gulf Coast in 2005, one of the Contech Academy partners was one of the first people down in the state of Louisiana to assist in the cleanup effort and to begin rebuilding the area. The project was ramping up quickly. On day one, there were 13 people on site, and then within a week, there were over 300 people on the ground helping. The range of hazards that the team might encounter were completely unknown, anything from water and electricity to snakes. To make matters worse, there was no formal safety program in place, and how could there be for such an unforeseen situation? So what the team did was take an agile approach to safety. They started with the basics, by having the site team do a walk around the entire area, looking for hazards and giving every person on the site on any given day the authority to raise their hand, to object, and to shut down the site if they believed there was a potential hazard. Of course, they didn't have nice site orientation training videos and quizzes covering the situations which they might encounter. So instead, they facilitated real conversations and dialogue about safety on a daily basis. They drilled home in a very personal way how important safety was by asking individuals, have you ever been injured on the job? And what happens if your buddy is injured? That is a great example of being agile. They made the best of what they had and took incremental steps in improving their program. Another important aspect of being agile in your safety program is learning from your past experiences and using them to improve at each step. When there is a safety infraction on site, approach it as a teachable moment. In the unfortunate situation that there's an injury on site, we should strive to understand the root causes and address them to prevent future issues.
In this chapter, we talked about how you can leverage the data collected in your mobile safety program. We first talked about the importance of capturing safe and unsafe observations. We then discussed the importance of both leading and lagging indicators. A best-in-class safety program is one in which recognizes the world around us is changing, that the projects we work on are going to continue to become more and more complex, that contract methodology will evolve, and that yes, the emergence of technology such as mobile will continue to play an important role in how we innovate. A best-in-class safety program is one that recognizes this and actively works on creating a culture of continuous improvement.
Good.
In this chapter, we'll look at a structured approach to introducing change to your safety program while focusing on culture. How to make everyone a safety rock star by empowering them with knowledge and access to information. And finally, how to create a feedback loop where your whole organization can benefit from the experiences and lessons learned by single individuals. Some of the common changes we're seeing are things like a shift in mentality that safety is the responsibility of the site safety inspector, to a mentality in which safety is the responsibility of every person who steps foot on the project. A change in emphasis from only identifying and documenting negative or unsafe behavior to one in which we record both safe and unsafe observations with root cause. Accordingly, instead of going to the safety guy every time you need information about program performance, data and analytics are being used to provide visibility into project performance. As you're approaching change and improving your safety culture, here are 4 basic principles you should consider. At its foundation, your company's culture starts with ensuring there is strong leadership and they are strongly committed to helping drive the change. Leadership needs to let your team know from day one, or even in their orientation program, that there is no space between leadership on that project and 100% safety. Focus on the why. Be sure you're able to easily communicate why the change will benefit the organization and each individual team member. Ensure all members of your team that will be affected understand the change, the why, and that leadership supports the initiative. Look for opportunities to involve the team in the planning process so they feel they have had a voice and are willing to take ownership. Finally, hold yourself and your team accountable. Set SMART goals to ensure execution stays on track. 2 challenges that every construction company faces are: 1, that construction is a people business. Much, if not all, the value of a construction company is the value of the knowledge and years of experience locked in the brains of all of its employees. Employees who may eventually move on or retire with that knowledge still locked in their heads. 2, the quality at which you perform an inspection, spot unsafe conditions, and work with your trades is affected by how many past experiences you've had. In safety, not everyone is a 20-year safety professional who can cite detailed regulations off the top of their head. How do we unlock all the knowledge from my most experienced teammates and leverage it such that the entire team is able to benefit from it and reference it when performing their own inspections or spotting unsafe conditions? Many teams are using their checklist programs to do just this. Building and maintaining a central library of checklist templates will allow you to document everything that should be inspected, including notes on how to inspect particular work and what to watch out for in particular situations. Imagine that you could actually have the very best site safety professional that you have at your entire company participate in every single inspection performed by any of your teammates. Imagine your entire team, even the most junior, that they're equipped with a guide to help them prevent anything from slipping through the cracks. Once you've got this library of checklist templates, make sure it continually improves. Create a feedback loop so that anytime any one of your teammates has a new experience or knowledge, the rest of the team can benefit from it. One of our partners performs lessons learned reviews on 100% of their projects. Here's what that process might look like. Build out corporate template checklists and inspection forms. Start simple and let them evolve. Maybe assemble a task group to put them together initially. Make sure there is somewhere to keep them. Create a digital, centralized repository. Make sure there's a well-defined process for making modifications. Ensure they are accessible from your mobile devices, so your field personnel can get access to the corporate templates. Provide simple processes whereby field personnel can easily add comments or input ideas for improvement of corporate templates. The easier the process, the richer your corporate templates will become. Be sure that there's a communication strategy that includes messaging from your leadership how this is to be used. Finally, incentivize your team by putting in place some form of acknowledgement or even rewards for folks that contribute. Continuous improvement is essential to your mobile safety program. In this chapter, we looked at a structured approach to introducing change to your safety program while focusing on culture. How to make everyone a safety rock star by empowering them with knowledge and access to information. And finally, how to create a feedback loop where your whole organization can benefit from the experiences and lessons learned by single individuals. Congratulations! At this point, you've completed the Mobile Safety Management course and are ready to do the knowledge summary. Here you have 5 questions that will touch on a number of the important topics that we've covered. Upon successful completion, we'll generate and unlock a continuing professional development credit for download. After that, I encourage you to complete the remaining courses in the field curriculum so that you can unlock the exam and become Contech Academy in the field accredited, which you can include on your CV or resume, or even add as a badge to your LinkedIn profile. Also, don't forget to download and leverage the resources graciously provided to us by our partners. Whether you're just starting or you're well on your way toward a full mobile safety management solution, I hope this course helped provide you with some new ideas or help better structure how to approach topics that you are already familiar. We talked about being aware of readiness for change a couple of times. I challenge you to think about what the next steps are for you and your project team. So thanks again for joining me. Have a great day.